Hey, what's up everyone? It's your boy Black Hat. Today is a special day. It's a special day for you especially because we're talking about Darren Parsons' Jeep. That's right, it's the Jeep. Everybody loves the Jeep. Everybody wants to know about the Jeep. So guess what? We're here in Ridgecrest. I'm at Darren's house right now. Without further ado, let's go meet the man and let's go talk about this Jeep everybody loves. Darren, where are you at?
Yo.
What's happening, man? Oh, you're on. Oh! Yeah! What's up, brother?
Yo.
How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Good, good. The Jeep, man. Let's pull it out into the sun here, and then we'll take a good look around the outside of this thing, and you can kind of give us a full tour. Oh, there she is. All right, man. Let's see. So what do you got under the hood of this thing?
Just your basic 5.3 swap, car intake. It's all Holley parts. This is the Holley Terminator X ECU. This does everything. Transmission, it turns my cooling fans on. You can adjust all your parameters on the dash live as you're driving it. So this is a really cool unit. It has these 8 LEDs right here. Those are for each one of your sensors. And if you have anything going on, each one of those will turn a color and indicate immediately what's going on with the system. So that's pretty cool. These are just rough stuff towers, 12-inch towers. So I just cut them up and put them in here. Built little mounts off the side of them for the bypasses. And yeah, it's proven. This thing's been a lot of fun. We, a while back, you guys seen the episode, we drove it. It was about a total of 9 hours, 7 hours off-road to Laughlin. And then raced it and raged the river. Hey Nick,
What's up?
you ever think our life would come to this?
Oh, Jesus.
Old Darren Parsons out there running his Jeep.
There's Mr. Darren in the Jeep. Look at him go.
Well Nick, I think we got first place Jeep. First place in Jeep. Alright, I did it. Drove it to Laughlin and raced it. You might think that's stupid, but at the same time, I'm driving a Jeep Cherokee. Do you think I'm really serious? I always wanted to drive a vehicle to a race and race it, so that's what we did.
Right on. So we got some fenders on here, some fiberglass fenders. So what kind of fenders are those?
These are McNeil Racing fenders. I actually got these before I even was dealing much with McNeil. They were like $100 the swap meet, $150 or something. I was like, hell yeah, those look good on that Jeep I got at home.
Heck yeah.
Then we did some KC lights on it. These flex bars are amazing. I don't honestly even really use the roof bar. It's more for decoration, but these things are killer.
Okay, so we got this kind of like an exo cage. So what's the deal with that, man?
This is actually considered a hybrid cage because it is interior and exterior.
Gotcha.
The thought of these is that you can ride on the rocks or whatever if you need to. If you need to slide on them or something, you got something there to catch you. As you can see right here, I've done a little bit of that. And back here, I've definitely used it to its capacity. That's the purpose of the hybrid style cage. All right, it's kind of messy back here because, like I said, it's used for family stuff. It's got a race legal X in it. And, you know, as much as I'd seem like I do this often, this was the actual first cage I've ever built in a vehicle. So that was kind of fun to take on myself because I bought 1447 as the chassis and just finished it because I didn't have any experience. Unfortunately, I was able to have Eric, the guy that built it, help me learn as we finished that truck. But I didn't ever get to build a complete cage myself, so I really wanted to do that. So that's why I did this. It bolts through to the roof. So there's sandwich plates, and the sandwich plates again like just help with the structure of the unibody chassis. It's just tying it in. Yeah, you could weld through, but I really wanted to be watertight and not have any kind of leaks. Be real family friendly. It's quieter, everything else.
Right on, man.
Did a little Smittybilt air tank, and this thing is killer. It'll fill up each tire in less than 10 minutes from like 5 psi to 25. So when you're ready to get on the road, 20 minutes to fill all your tires is amazing, because usually, I mean, you can hardly do that with like a air pump at your house. This little freaking guy right here handles all that.
That's awesome. What about so these speakers back here, is this like a factory? Is that the factory spot the speakers go?
It is a factory spot.
Interesting.
We just put some
nicer speakers in there.
Nicer speakers, yeah.
Right on.
They're freaking raw.
All right, cool. Let's check out the rest of the interior here. There's the other part of the cage here.
So these actually tie down into the rock sliders that are welded to the chassis. Front seats are amazing. These are the PRP Enduros, and they are so comfortable. They have tilt back, so you can go all the way forward or back or whatever, and there's plenty of room with the cage there to do so.
You got some 4-point harnesses.
Yeah, I just use the razor belts, because look at these things. These are so handy. You just go to get in, and my freaking 5-year-old hops in, and she just goes, click. Just that easy, so.
So what else you got going on in here?
I did a push button start on it, because, I mean, everything should have a push button start, right?
That's rad. So that's the outside of the Jeep and the inside. So we're gonna take it to the shop now, put it up on the lift, and give you guys a real good look on the underside and see what Darren's done as far as suspension and all that jazz. So we'll see you at the shop. Okay, so we've made it to the shop. So yeah, man, let's go over here and talk about it. So why don't we just start with the front?
Sure. So up front, I got a lot of questions about the front bumper. This front bumper is the factory front bumper. Just cut up. That's all I did. Just cut it. And with the whole Jeep theme in mind, I literally made this a 16 gauge air ducting from HVAC units with Harbor Freight shears. That's how those are made. Okay, so just to answer that question. Second,
Let's take a look at
this is where my winch is. Ties to the factory chassis pretty nicely. This from Harbor Freight. This 12K Smittybilt Gen 3 winch, extremely nice synthetic winch cables and all the nice stuff like that. And yeah, but it's mounted just right there. Front axle.
Front axle.
Yes. So this is a Curry.
The Curry?
Curry.
Ballin' like Curry.
Performance 60. I think they changed the name of it. They didn't like Rock Chalk anymore. But another one I get a ton of questions on. Why is your pinion angle so off? Well, it's not off. What they do on these housings is they rotate them so you get more clearance out of them. And then the drive line goes off there. Yeah.
Oh.
PSC Ram Assist steering box. If you look up in there, you'll see what's not a stock 4-liter. That's definitely not a 4-liter anymore.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right.
So what is it then?
Well, what we did is a GM 5.3 engine with 4L60 trans. The 5.3 has just some nice parts from the scattering of LS7s I've done over the past 5 years. So it's built up a little bit, but it's really mild. I wanted this thing to be really, really reliable, streetable, family type vehicle. And then the transmission is a maximum transmission, and it's a 4L60. I know those are bad, but this one's done me well so far. He built it right over there, and I'm pretty confident in it.
Moderately built V8.
Right, yeah, there's that.
It's got.
I paid $800 for the engine and transmission out of a dude's truck that was getting repoed. You know how I pulled this thing? With a Sawzall. Okay, cut everything off the front of the truck and pulled it straight out and set it in my backyard and waited for the day that a majestic XJ came into my life. And here it is.
Here it is. Right on. All right, well, let's see. What do you got as far as suspension here? I see some nice King shocks, a bump stop in there. What else? Tell us about the suspension work on this thing.
Okay, so Brett King took a liking to this whole idea of a home-built XJ. I don't know, but he hooked it up, 2.5 coilover, and then 2.5 bypass with, these are actually 2.5 swap me by bump stops. So those aren't anything fancy by any means.
Okay.
It cycles 12 inches of travel in the front and 12 inches of travel in the rear. And then we'll dive right into this 4-link, which I am very happy with. This is an Ironman 4x4 fab 4-link system. And basically you cut off everything XJ and you put this piece under here, and then all of your 4-link is based off of this one belly pan.
Huh.
So it's really nice way to package everything. It's really snug up in there. You'll lose a lot of forearm skin working on it, but it fits so nicely when everything's in.
It looks like it's adjustable too?
Absolutely, yeah. There's multiple pivot points up and down where you can select your geometry of choice or whatever.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it's this whole belly pan piece here.
Yep. Back here we got the Evan Weller built 9-inch, just a 9-inch, nothing crazy, with a Rough Stuff housing. This is a Rough Stuff pinion guard as well. I used all of Rough Stuff's fabrication parts on the truck. They're a godsend. They have tabs and the towers for the shocks and everything are all Rough Stuff, and all these mounts are all Rough Stuff. All I do is figure out where they need to go and weld them on there. The rear shocks are 12-inch, 2.5 internal bypass shocks. Once again, King. Hooking it up on those. The rear disc brakes on this are actually super fancy. They're from a Cadillac. No, but that's another Rough Stuff kit. You get these, and it's pretty cool. They're out of a Cadillac Eldorado. And they make the mounts for them, and you just kind of weld them on there.
Cool.
On back under here, 32-gallon fuel cell. It's actually a Jeep speed cell, so it's kind of designed for the Cherokees in mind. Jack's Motorsports hooked me up with the CAD files to make this belly pan for it, or I don't know, belly pan, but skid plate box for it to sit in. And I fabricated it together, and actually I bolted it right up to where the hitch mounts, because I felt like that's pretty sturdy.
Yeah, I would think so, yeah. Don't have to drill new holes in the frame or anything?
Yeah. These bump stops are actually off the back of 1447 OMG.1. Holley Performance, fuel pump, engine management system. This is actually their filter, pressure regulator in one, and it has a hydromat in the tank. Super slick, never ever suck air. You're always pulling fuel as long as there's gas in it.
Oh, right on, cool. How about these shock mounts you guys have here? So are these custom made or?
These are Rough Stuff. All you do is literally cut them out to whatever you want them to fit, and then you just weld them on there, and it's pretty freaking simple. It takes all the hard work out of it.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. The rear end is spooled. The front end has E-locker. It's an Eaton E-locker with G2 gears and manually locking hubs. I've yet to have this thing stuck enough to where I need help getting out, but it also has a winch, so that makes it super easy. The sliders, so this is where the cage ties into. Cage ties into these sliders, which then tie into the body, which tie into the bumper, which tie into the cage, which ties into the sliders up there. These are 2x6 120 wall. I literally just welded them to the chassis, and then I connected the chassis to them with more 2-inch 2x6 120 wall, and then I plated the entire chassis because these things are unibody. So unibodies suck, and I'll never do this again. Put it on camera. I'll never ever fully weld out a 3/16 structure kit onto an XJ in my life. This is the most miserable thing you could ever weld. But it turned out nice, and it's very sturdy.
Well, how come? How come it was the most miserable thing?
Well, you see, there is a specific style of metal they use when they build these Jeeps. And as the Midwestern people will tell you, it rusts very quickly, so there's nothing magical about it. But it just pops and splatters, and you can't ever get a good weld on it. It's constantly exploding on you. And I did it in my garage, not here at the shop. So I'm laying on a creeper, just taking all the burn straight to my chest. And it was very painful, and I was over it. I'm done. I'll never do it again.
Would it be because the metal's thin, or maybe it's not of a great quality, or?
It's not a good quality.
Gotcha.
Definitely not a good quality. And I did it all the way up into right here too. You can see more of it.
Okay, yeah.
And that's about it for the other side of the old XJ.
Right on.
Back to the drivetrain, I did utilize the 231 transfer case. Once again, with keeping the mild build in mind, it's only probably around 400 horsepower, and I've heard those are good to at least 600. Could not be, I don't know, but I haven't broke it yet. And when I do break it, I'll address it then.
How much horsepower do you think this 5.3's running right now?
It should be around 400 with just all the cam and all the goodies I put into it. It should be right around 400, but it's no horsepower king. It's just something that's fun to drive. And
I mean, 400 horsepower is pretty good for an XJ.
yeah, well, it's not light anymore either. These
Yeah,
things
yeah.
start off life around 3,300 pounds, and this thing's clocking in right at 5,600 pounds right now. So.
Yikes. So that's the front here too. This is also like a rough stuff kind of shock tower housing thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Obviously up there above the fender well.
Yeah.
Right on, man. How about exhaust? You know, I saw a little something back here.
Oh, we don't want to talk about that.
Well, that little
Wife
guy.
didn't like one MagnaFlow, so I had to put two MagnaFlows on
You had to put
it.
two flat mag. Oh, it's too loud with just one.
Yeah, so we did two of them on there. And
You get your twisty mufflies back here.
twisty mufflies, yep.
Yeah.
Wasn't a fun day when I had to weld that on there. It's real tight. There's no clearance in this thing, and yeah. But it sounds good.
Yeah, it does, man. It does sound good. What happened? What happened right here? What's this little guy?
There's this trail out here called Wiggly's 5, and I rested a rock on there just for a short period of time.
Just so you guys know that this thing gets used and abused,
Right.
right?
Yeah, I mean you can see it. It's all over this thing. It's got a nice little bit of rock rash on it just to legitimize it.
Yeah, for sure. I've seen you run this thing, not too much, but I mean we've all seen it on social media and Instagram and stuff. You running this thing and you run it hard. She seems to be pretty reliable the way
Yeah.
you built it, man. So
Definitely. Build them to be used and abused. Let's drop her down and go.
yeah, let's drop her down and kind of whoa. Look at these shiny wheels. What shiny wheels you got on here?
Oh, I got them 101 method beatbox.
Nice.
Machined is back in style.
It is.
Don't let anyone else tell you.
It is. I just put some machined wheels on my truck and it's like, oh, looks great. And what size tire are you running here?
37-inch DFG KR3s.
Well, right on, man. Well, let's plop her down. So you guys saw the Jeep. We saw what it could do. Thanks again, Darren, very much for letting us come out and showing us the Jeep, dude. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So with that in mind, oh, what's that there? Oh, hey. So with that in mind, thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. Another great episode of Built to Destroy. Hope to see you next time. If you like what we're doing with Terra Crew, please comment, like, subscribe so we can keep doing what we're doing and bringing you guys awesome content. So with that, we leave you. Thank you very much. I'll turn this damn thing off here.